Hey everybody, it's GoblinX and welcome back to some more Magic Arena. Today I'll be playing Decathlon Event number 4, the New Player Decks event. So in this event we will be competing with our choice out of these 10 pre-constructed new player decks that every account on Arena gets. These are all going to be some pretty basic, pretty bread and butter kind of decks. They all have their own mechanic they're kind of built around, like this red-white one here is built around equipment. I would expect these to be some of the swingiest games out of maybe all of the Decathlon events, because these decks, they have a pretty high discrepancy between the strongest cards in the deck and the weakest cards in the deck. So there's going to be a lot left up to how powerful the hands that you draw into or the cards that you draw into are. So I expect this is going to be one of the swingiest, maybe most wild Decathlon events here, because some of these decks, you know, like, this doesn't look like a super great, like, standard deck or anything, but some games you're just gonna, like, turn 2 a core Blade Master into turn 3 Maul of the Skyclaves on it and make it a 3/3 flying double striker or something absolutely ridiculous like that. But that's going to be on rare occasion, but sometimes people are just going to get absolutely slapped by that, and then you could follow it up with, like, turn 4 Showdown of the Scalds, and then other games you're just going to, like, play, I don't know, a turn 1 1/1 flyer, and then a 2/1 on 2, and then maybe this buff them with +1/+1, you know, some very basic stuff. So I feel like this is going to be a pretty wild event overall. The decks available are red-white equipment, green-blue snow/ramp, blue-black control, white-black dungeon delving, that is venturing into the dungeon a lot. Blue-red spells, green-black +1/+1 counters, black-red treasure, white-blue foretell, red-green landfall, and white-green life gain. So what deck shall I play today for the first new player decks event? You know, I'm kind of into blue-red spells here, maybe. Let's see what's in the deck. All of these decks are actually a little lower curves than you'd expect, a little more aggressive than you'd think, because the blue-red spell strategy with in Prismari is about a lot of big spells like Creative Outbursts and stuff in their set, cards like Maelstrom used to make them cheaper. But when you look at the deck list for the blue-red spells deck, it's a ton of cheap stuff, a ton of 2-drops, a ton of 3-mana creatures, including these Umara Mystics that can really beat somebody down quite quickly. So I think the other thing about this format that'll make it pretty swingy is a lot of these decks are pretty aggressive, to where their best aggressive hands can kill you on, like, turn 4, turn 5. But then, of course, the worst hands are going to be really slow, and then you're going to be top decking like 2-mana 2/1s late in the game. So yeah, it's going to be a wild, pretty swingy format. I'm going to go with the Fireworks deck here, and we'll see how it goes. Alright, here we are in round 1, and this is a pretty wild hand. I don't know if that means it's a good hand. Probably. We have 2 lands, and we can cast Expressive Iteration, which can hopefully get us the 3rd. If there's a land in our top 3, we'll exile it and then play it immediately. Yeah, that should get us there. Demi-Lich is a little awkward in the opener, costing 4 blue, but it does cost 1 blue less for each instant sorcery we've cast this turn, so we don't necessarily need 4 blue mana to get it out, and it is a mythic, so probably one of the stronger cards in the deck. We'll definitely try this hand out. Everything except Demi-Lich I'm pretty excited for, but Demi-Lich a little weird. A little strange card. Don't know how easy this is going to be for us to cast. So our opponent is on the equipment deck here. They start with a turn 1 Kite Sail Cleric, and we just had a look at the equipment deck there. We saw that that was their main 1-mana creature outside of the 1/1 Goblin. Alright, now turn 2 here. We have not drawn a land, so we kind of have to just go Expressive Iteration and hope for the 3rd. If we don't have a land in our top 3, I think we just lose. Alright, we do have one. We are going to need 4 mana because we have Maelstrom Muse and Basalt Ravager and Demi-Lich being pretty important. So I'm going to draw a land and exile a land to play for the turn. I already played my land, it's turn 2. I should have played Pledge Mage in turn 3 the iteration. Whoops. Getting used to the constructed cards here. Turn 2 Core Blade Master is pretty terrifying. Well, turn 3, but still. Alright, we're going to need as much blue mana as we can get. We're not going to make it to 5 without playing that. Let's get our Pledge Mage down so we can block Core Blade Master at least. Royal Eruption to kill that. Assault Ravager is going to be really good here, killing either of these. I think I'm going to kill the Double Striker. Just gives anything that's equipped Double Strike, which is very threatening to me. Alright, just another Kite Sail Cleric, I guess. We've got the 4 blue for Demi-Lich now. Yeah, I kind of want to just do that. Does this not have flying? Oh, that's weird. That's weird. This is the first time in my life I've cast this card. I always just assumed it had flying. It looks like just a glowing flying skull, you know? Especially with the animation they gave it. I guess it's not a floating flying skull. We're down to 9. Taking quite a bit of damage from these clerics. Could kill them both here with Prismari Commander, Demon Bolt, and Rebuke. What does this do in attacks? Exile an instant or sorcery from a grave, cast it. Copy it, cast copy. Do the copy without paying its mana cost? I don't know, let's find out. Let's see if it makes us pay for this Rebuke. Yeah, you have to pay. Halvar also makes all their equipped stuff double strike. Okay, well, we'll just kill Halvar with the Demon Bolt here, I think. Cast an Iteration. Shouldn't have played my land yet. In case we hit one. We don't hit one anyway. We're not going to be able to cast any of these. Let's put the Mystic in our hand. Iteration on the bottom, just exile this Pledge Mage. Fireblade Charger. They pass. Let's Prismari command that. +2/+2. Just put it in their hand, I guess. You can choose not to exile with that. And it really, Demi-Lich card's very confusing. I'm certainly learning it as I go here. Definitely getting the new player experience. So we attack and into the royal for the win. That is simple. Okay, cool. Slowly but surely, I'm figuring out how to use expressive iteration and demi-lich. So, luckily our opponent drew pretty poorly there, just a lot of small creatures. So we had a pretty easy go of it there, and certainly learned some good things for the remainder of our matches here. So we started off 1-0. A little slow, but definitely worth the keep, I think, with how our mana's looking. Turn 3 Agar, turn 4 Archmage, some cool stuff. Turn 3 we're going to play Agar, turn 4 we're going to play Archmage. Do we want a turn 2 iteration or just not do anything turn 2? I think I'll just not do anything turn 2 because we don't need to cast card draw right now. We have our plays lined up for several turns. So I would rather hold on to it and get additional cards off of it thanks to the Archmage. And, and the fact that I'll actually be able to play whatever I exile instead of just leaving it in exile. Alright, so another red-white equipment deck here. Turn 2 Shieldmate into turn 3 Dancing Sword, slap it on there. We kill this with Agar, we draw a card. Dancing Sword can turn into a flyer if they want with Ward 1, but it's just a 2-1. I'll take the card draw. Trade into this, draw 1 card, they get a 1-1 and a 2-1. Prismari Command, perfect. Kill a thing if we need to. I don't think we need to right now, we'll play our Archmage first. Draw a lot of cards off of that. And try to cast our Demi-Lich for free this game, potentially. Uh-oh, Brunor's so bad for us, because their equip costs are free now. And it gives quite the buff. We don't have any way to do 3 damage, we only have 2. This is not good at all. Salt Ravager does 2 also. Doesn't do the 3. Oh dear. So iteration, we're going to draw a card, and we're going to draw things out of the top 3. Worst case scenario, we can get our 3rd land for Prismari Command, so we can still kill the 5-2, just like we would have if we played with Salt Ravager. That's like worst case scenario. Best case scenario, we hit like Royal Eruption or something, and we get to kill Brunor. So we hit into the Royal. Kaza actually seems pretty sweet. We've not played land for turn. I want to go land for turn Prismari Command for sure, so do we want Kaza or Into the Royal? Kaza's cool, but we probably need Into the Royal more. So we're going to do 2 damage to their 5-2 and create a treasure token, and we'll draw a card when we do that as well. Give their equipped stuff double strike too? Okay, not good. Probably rather Into the Royal than Prismari Command, because Prismari Command can get countered by a combat trick of +2/+2. And Into the Royal straight kills the token no matter how big it is. We draw Demon Bolt to kill Brunor, but they can put Dancing Sword onto Brunor. That'll still only be 4 toughness, so Demon Bolt on Brunor seems like the pick. Got enough cards in hand now. Probably do chump, because if they have Resolute Strike, we pretty much die on the spot. +2/+2 and attach an equipment they control. Yeah, we die literally on the spot if they have Resolute Strike. It's 1 mana for +2/+2, and they can equip something they control to a creature they control if they want. Alright, we need another red source for Meteor Swarm. But if we get that, that's going to be really good here too. Prismari Command would give us the red source for that. But then we can't do too many targets. X targets, we need to do 4 mana to do 1 target. So and we wouldn't have the red source this turn, we'd have the red source the turn after. We have the mana to Demon Bolt and Prismari Command. Probably our line here. Okay, the creature doesn't have ward. Okay, good. Only the sword itself has ward 1. So we can use this to deal 2 to the Blade Master and kill the Dancing Sword after they dump some mana into equipping. I guess I could play around that combat trick again. Probably should to be safe in case they draw into it. It seems like they definitely did not have it at that time, but in case they have it in the future. Coom Warrior, big old 4/5 trample. Alright, cool. There's the red source for Meteor Swarm. Get them down to just a 1/1 token on the board. 5 to any target. This only does 1 single target though, so that's not going to be the line. Yeah, Meteor Swarm for 2 targets here. 2 target creatures. They have a 1/1 and a card in hand now. Rune of Sustenance to draw a card, targeting a land so that even if I shoot their 1/1, they still get the card draw, because that's more important to them than the life gain. All of the Skyclave seems like a good card to draw there. We still have quite a bit of life though, so we're just down to 10, and we can definitely kill a 3/3. So I feel like I'm still doing pretty good. They're unlikely to haste here, so I'm going to go ahead and Creative Outburst before they're untapped. Well, I'm glad I dig 5 cards deep, because that's a lot of land. Yeah, Pledge Mage, because it could block some things for me. Lets me start getting a little more defensive. They do have a few haste creatures, actually. The little 1-mana 1/1 goblins have haste if you equip them. Problem is, every single card they play is going to need to be killed pretty much immediately. So we go Expressive Iteration here to try to pull out removal. Thundering Rebuke works. I like Ravager in hand. Start putting a lot of wizards on the board, so all these Ravagers turn into removal spells as well. We definitely played the Demi-Lich this turn. And we have the mana to play a Pledge Mage as well, which is nice. Alright, have the Demi-Lich take over the game again here. Are they both wizards? They are. They do have Royal Eruption to kill the Demi-Lich though. So we'll have to exile a bunch of stuff from the grave to recast it, but we've got a ton in grave, so let's do it. What are we not recasting here? Oh. I want the cheap removal. Let's get rid of some iterations. We don't really need the card draw if we're just recasting everything from our grave. Probably do that. Now we still have cheap removal and we still have like board wipe style removal in grave. Got it all set up. Can recast any of that off of the Demi-Lich. Alright, Dwarven Hammer, that is going to be a creature. But Assault Ravager is going to put in some work here. Is there anything to cast here? I could Prismari Command to draw some cards and destroy one of their equipment. That is probably worth it. Let's filter through some cards, draw 2, discard 2, and destroy the Maul. We're definitely going to discard Pledge Mage for something better here. Yeah, land Pledge Mage, get out of here. And there's the concession from our opponent. Alright, here we are in round 3. We are 2-0 so far. Decent start. Opponent is on the play. We've got a pretty good hand for utilizing Agar's ability to draw cards. So I'm certainly going to keep it. Got that Demi-Lich again. It's all about the Demi-Lich. First game I didn't even know how to use it right, but the second game it was certainly ridiculous. I do want to slow down our opponent here, so I'm mildly considering just rebuking their forest immediately. Probably better to just play Investigator, because we can get the card draw off of Agar, and that has felt really important in the last match, just getting a lot of card draw to out card advantage our opponent. Oran Reef Ooze is the play, unless they only have these 3 lands. Wow, if they only have these 3 lands, maybe I should have just killed that immediately. But now I kind of have to kill the Ooze, because that gets more counters the more stuff they attack with. Yeah. Again, I'm missing out on card draw this way. I could also kill the forest now that I know it's their only land. It's their only 3rd mana, they don't have a 4th. Could also just let the Ooze go off. This is a really hard choice. I definitely feel real bad for not rebuking that forest, though. If they only had 2 lands in hand. Because it's too late to stop the Ooze from being on board now. We either kill the Ooze and let them keep the forest, or kill the forest now, but the Ooze is out. Get greedy here. Probably wrong, but I'm going to get greedy. Now next turn we can Basalt Ravager, kill the forest, and we're dealing 3 damage with Ravager, so we'll draw a card off Agar by doing that. Fortunately they have the Poison Cup for Agar, super bad for us. Now they just have 4 mana, so at this point they have 4 mana and I can't draw the cards anyway, so Rebuke it is. Get in some Investigator damage. So Ravager will do 3 damage when it comes in now, because 3 wizards. Kill that Shadow Cat here. Get ready to Demi-Lich next turn. It'd still be solid to have killed the forest there. Dragon's Guard Elite. Gets a +1/+1 counter whenever they cast an instant or sorcery, and they can double them up later on. Definitely playing the Demi-Lich here, I think. Just 2 toughness stuff here. Yeah, I think we're attacking with our 4/2. And casting a Demi-Lich. Power Word Kill, sure thing, you got it. Golgari deck has a ton of removal. They have Power Word Kill, Poison the Cup. They have Struggle for Skemfar in that deck as well, I'm pretty sure. Moss Pit Skeleton. Another Moss Pit Skeleton, alright. Double block Demi-Lich to kill it here. We can Into the Royal in response to their blocks, which could work pretty well for us. We're definitely going to go ahead and Thundering Rebuke to kill something here. So do we Agar and then Thundering Rebuke so we can draw a card, or do we hold up Into the Royal so we can protect Demi-Lich? I feel like we hold up Into the Royal, because Demi-Lich is already going to draw so many cards if we just keep it on the board, because it's just going to recast a bunch of stuff. They do go for the double block, so glad I held on to Into the Royal, and since I won't be able to afford Agar anyway, I might as well kick this to draw a card. Very nice. Very nice work from the Demi-Lich there. Wow, our opponent is just wildly stuck on mana here. Power Word Kill, though. Alright. Well, Arcane Investigator can draw us cards. It has kind of expressive iteration. Let's go ahead and iterate, see what we find. That was a good draw. Take our Umara Mystic to hand, because I'm probably playing Agar this turn. Grab the blue source to play this turn. Don't have enough instants and sorceries in our grave to use Demi-Lich here. Could draw another card off Arcane Investigator. Or just put an Agar on the board. Giant Wizard or Spell dealt damage. Okay, so we play Agar pre-combat then. That way if they block the Pledge Mage, we draw a card. Alright, they're not going to. Okay, so if we just hit a land next turn, we start using Arcane Investigator to draw cards. We hit any spell, we're in a pretty great spot. Then we'll have enough engraved to bring back Demi-Lich, and obviously we'll be casting some kind of spell here. So that would be good. Pledge Mage is not good. I think we would rather draw a card than Pledge Mage here. Nat 20, look at the top three, put one into hand. Nat 20 we go, Thundering Rebuke or Into the Royal. Thundering Rebuke, get rid of Gnarlid Colony. We don't draw a card from doing that because it's not excess damage, but it's still their best creature. Yeah. The Nat 20. Now get a great attack in here. We have 4 spells to cast Demi-Lich here, so we could offer the trade as well. 3, 4, 6, and we deal 9 if they take the trade here. We'll offer the trade. Because now, like, instead of drawing a card off of Investigator's ability next turn, we're just going to be recasting Demi-Lich. Alright, they've got a 5/5 Moss Pit Skeleton on the ground. Creative Outburst is the draw. 5 to target. The target is going to be our opponent's face. Some great draws that game. I don't think we played ideally. I think, obviously, bolting the forest would have worked out really well in hindsight. And probably even without hindsight was what we should have done in the first place. But yeah, our opponent stuck on mana for a long time there. They did manage to cast everything they drew eventually, but because of their mana situation, just didn't get to roll it out quickly. So we're 3-0 now as we head into round 4. Mono blue mana base here, and all the most important cards in our hand are red. I feel like I have to mulligan this. Sure, we have like 3 islands basically, but we're just not casting so much of this. Alright, this is better. I think we get rid of Creative Outburst. Maybe Fireball, because we can cycle this for a treasure token, worst case scenario. It's really not ideal though. Yeah, I think I'm getting rid of the Outburst. Very reactive hand. Just a bunch of instants. Sure, we'll foretell this. The problem with foretelling it is I think it's the only foretell card in this deck, so if your opponent knows the deck lists, they just know exactly what you have. Not that there's a lot you can do to play around a Demon Bolt. Because this deck, they know we're just going to have some kind of burn spell at all times anyway. It's a deck full of them. So, it's probably worth it. Because that let us, after top decking Pledge Mage, cast it and still hold up Demon Bolt. Demi-Lich. That will be nice if I can ever cast that. Which is likely to be difficult. But Demon Bolt's only costing us 1 mana now, so we can basically use Demon Bolt to turn a red source into a blue source for a turn for Demi-Lich. Spend 1 red, cast Demon Bolt, and then Demi-Lich only costs 3 blue instead of 4. So we're kind of only 1 blue source away from Demi-Lich if they play something that we want to kill with Demon Bolt. Alright, pretty nice expressive iteration from our opponent. The draw 2 off of it. And a cycle of the Creative Outburst here. Go to our turn. Another Demon Bolt. Probably foretell this. Although then we can't kick an Into the Royal. Actually not gonna foretell this. If I foretell this, then we technically could live in Magical Christmas Land where we cast 2 Demon Bolts in one turn so that we can cast Demi-Lich, but it feels unlikely to me. I feel like it's more likely that they just play something big I need to enter the Royal instead of Demon Bolt. Because I do really want to draw cards here. That, however, I am just going to Demon Bolt. Which means I can just spend the more expensive Demon Bolt here. Or I could wait in case I draw a blue source. If I draw a blue source, I get to go Island, Demon Bolt, Demi-Lich. I'm just gonna wait. Let's see. Alright, well, didn't work out well, but I'll cast the cheap Demon Bolt so I can still hold up into the Royal then. And this way I get damage in 2 from Pledge Mage. So because we had that Foretold Demon Bolt, that was probably worth it. It would have been so good if we did hit the island there. Probably going to Demon Bolt my Pledge Mage so they can draw a card here. No, Maelstrom Muse it is. Rather Demon Bolt the Muse or the Agar. We can Fireball whichever one's left over, so I guess it doesn't really matter. Yeah. Demon Bolt one of them, Fireball the other. Then attack with Pledge Mage. Our plan. Fortunately, our opponent has more cards left in hand than us since they had the expressive iteration for a draw 2. We haven't had any draw power yet. Just taking 1-for-1s. So our opponent's got the better spot for the long game here for sure. Thanks to the card draw. They just have alright. They just have the second copy of both of those. Oh, cast our first Maelstrom Muse, and now we're just blocking whatever they're doing. Alright, the board states are at parity here, and we both have 2 cards in hand. Sort of balances out, depends on how good their cards in hand are. If they have their own Demon Bolts. Alright, a Pledge Mage. Not super scary, not super good, pretty fine with that one. Royal Chaser, a 1-2 Flying Haste, also fine with that. They've got more than enough mana for all their instants and sorceries by now, so just a little 1-2 attacker. Yeah, we're kinda just staring at each other for a little while here. Basalt Ravager's quite the draw. Quite the draw. Deal 3 damage to something when it comes into play. Could try to kill Agar, but then if their card in hand is Into the Royal or Demon Bolt, they can get rid of one of my wizards before my ability resolves and shut it off. We know it's an instant in their hand, most likely. I guess we don't know that, because they could use this ability at any time. So it's not necessarily an instant in hand. I feel like the blue-red deck has so many instants that it's probably best to just kill Kaza. Because that's the only way we get a guaranteed kill. That being said, Agar is by far their most important card because it turns all their Demon Bolts into card draw. And I feel like if they had one of those, they would have cast it already. So the only way this goes poorly is if they have Into the Royal in hand, which is definitely a possibility. So we're crossing our fingers for no Into the Royal here. Alright, no Into the Royal. That works out. So top deck war it is. We'll see who draws better. Our board states are yet again at pretty much exact Cs. Very even boards. Make their instant or sorcery cheaper, I guess for Creative Outburst. Alright, deals 5 to any target. Look at the top 5. I believe I can counter this if I enter the Royal Maelstrom Muse. I believe they don't get the card draw anymore. Which we definitely should enter Royal if they don't. Alright, nice. Nice, nice, nice. Counter that card draw. Not that worried about them like killing Maelstrom Muse, but I am worried about them getting a 2-for-1 by killing Maelstrom Muse and drawing cards. Now we can go ahead and get their Pledge Mage off the board, I guess. There's no way they don't block here. They're at 12. Hit them for a third of their life total. But now getting the Pledge Mage off the board, Investigator can start attacking anytime that their Maelstrom Muse attacks us. Well, there's their own Ravager. There goes our Pledge Mage, I guess. They're going to shoot Investigator, so we don't have a card a mana sink for card draw. Wow, Demi-Lich is looking absolutely horrible this game. Agar it is. The war continues. I'll definitely cash this in to draw a card here. Nice 2-for-1. I need to get to my blue source for Demi-Lich. Prismari Command, Expressive Iteration. Those are some draws. Let's iterate. So we can attack with Pledge Mage. And we can see what we're playing next. Wizard to hand. Wizard to hand, play an island for turn, maybe cast Wizard post-combat if we don't need to Prismari Command. Feels good to me. We're at 16, they're at 12. Probably good to attack. With the command in hand. Double block on Pledge Mage. So we just kill the Royal Chaser here, or go for a Prismari Command to kill Royal Chaser and keep Pledge Mage on board, or go for a Prismari Command to kill Maelstrom Muse. Because 3 damage plus the extra 2, but then we don't kill Kaza. We're doing a trade for that out of this and this dying. I think we just kill Kaza and then cast our Wizard if they block like this. If they block with just Maelstrom Muse, then I probably would have Prismari Commanded. But yeah, I don't want to use it just to kill their Kaza and save a little dork. Just get that Wizard down. Alright. So Prismari Command makes sure that Demi-Lich is pretty much guaranteed here. Because we get a treasure token from Prismari Command plus reduce the blue by 1. So we're just hoping to set up to where Prismari Command is going to do something good here. So we don't have to cast it just for a treasure. Is it going to do something good here? 4 power? Not really. Yeah, we just do a 1-for-1 trade. Yeah, 1-for-1 trade, get a treasure token, draw 2, discard 2 it is then. Sure. Our opponents definitely played really well this game. And here's the Demi-Lich. Yeah, we have not been able to get them with any of our instant speed tricks, really. Assault Ravager doesn't kill anything, so we're fine. Demi-Lich just goes off still. Alright, Demi-Lich goes off. I don't know what order we're supposed to put these in. I think this needs to resolve first. Let this resolve and then cast. What do we want to cast here? Prismari Command again to kill Ravager. Yeah, they scooped him up. Just gonna Prismari Command, kill Ravager. And then maybe filter, draw 2, discard 2 again. But that'll do it. Demi-Lich just starting to go off again. And that game, Demi-Lich was looking real sketchy because for a long time we just couldn't cast the Lich. But we made it to casting Lich, which means we made it to the victory. 4-0 now. 3 victories to go to get this Decathlon token in the bag. It would be really cool to get that out of the way real quick here. But can't be too unhappy with a 4-win run, no matter how things go from here. And the worst case scenario is we get to play more Decathlon events. So opponent on the play. I think I like this hand. I definitely like the Archmage. I'm a little worried about the mana. But we know we're doing Pledge Mage into the Royal and Rebuke. I am going to keep. We are on the draw as well. It's another mirror match. Just get that Pledge Mage out. Turn 2. Rebuke is a sorcery, unfortunately, so I'll have to keep that in mind. 3 mana from our opponent, and they pass turn. Don't have anything to cast here to attack with Pledge Mage, so we just play Mystic. Four mana from our opponent. Thunder Rebuke on Mystic, and 2 mana up. So Archmage Emeritus probably dies here, but we don't really have anything else to do. We could play a Ravager just to deal 2 to them and start attacking with a 4/2. But pretty much would always rather play a Ravager when I'm killing one of their creatures than when I'm dealing some damage to them. That being said, it could be worth it just to draw another Rebuke out on the Ravager. Alright, into the Royal, so no hard removal for the Archmage. Just a temporary one here. And now do they have the permanent removal? They have drawn 2 more cards since last turn. No? Kumara Wizard. Alright, well, things might really be coming up in our favor here then. Because now we just get to start drawing cards off this thing. Although I would probably still rather Ravager to kill the Wizard for the 3 damage than cast our Thundering Rebuke. So we can just Thundering Rebuke something else, and we can still hold up into the Royal here. So if they try to kill Archmage Emeritus, we can into the Royal it, draw a card, and put it back in our hand. That seems really good. Now we're presenting a lot of damage on board with a 4-power Giant. Opponent has a ton of cards in hand, though. So I don't want to call this one yet, but I am liking the position. 7 for Creative Outburst. We can counter it with Into the Royal. No, Agar's the play. Alright. And then Basalt Ravager for the 2 damage. Into the Royal are Emeritus to draw a card and save it. And then they don't draw a card because they're not killing anything. I guess they wouldn't have drawn the card anyway, but... saving our Archmage, and then we're going to kill their Agar with Thundering Rebuke and draw a card. Really turn that, kind of reverse curse them on that one. Seems good to me. Definitely do it pre-combat so we can attack both, and so they don't draw a card when they trade Basalt Ravager off. Now they're down to 2 cards in hand, we have 3 in hand, and we have the better board state. Feeling pretty good, but we're of course tapped out now. There's no way to save Emeritus if they go for it again, and they do. Basalt Ravager will kill it. But it's done its job. We drew a couple cards off of it. So we can Demon Bolt a Ravager here, so we can attack with both our creatures and get in for 3, I guess, and then they trade the other Ravager off. I think I'd rather hold on to Demon Bolt, because we can play Pledge Mage and Umara Mystic, and then Demon Bolt threatens a lot more damage next turn. If I foretell Demon Bolt, they know exactly what I'm doing, so I'm just going to hold on to it. I feel like I'll have more than enough mana. I guess the only thing I don't is if I top deck Creative Outburst, I wouldn't have enough mana to spend 7 on Outburst and 3 on Demon Bolt, but I would if I had foretold it. Yeah, maybe I'm overvaluing hiding foretell cards. Probably should have just foretold that in case I do hit the 7-drop Creative Outburst. So they have 2 cards in hand, 2 Ravagers on board. We're going to kill 1 Ravager with Demon Bolt and then attack with our whole field. Mystic's definitely hitting for 3 in the sky. the other Ravagers trading off, and these are hitting for 6 total, so we're going to hit for 10 damage next turn if they don't play another creature. They do, though. Umara Wizard is the play. I would rather kill that than a Basalt Ravager. It's strictly better. A little bit bigger and potentially gets flying. I think Umara Wizard is a little better than Umara Mystic as well when they don't have any cards in hand, because it's just, you know, it's 4 power all the time versus 3 power occasionally. Even if it does always have flying fireballs. Great. And we can afford to play it. That is excellent. Yeah, so we get to kill their flyer to definitely hit with Mystic. I think that's lethal. I might be wrong, but this is a lot of flying damage plus a guaranteed 3 on the ground. 5 in the sky. Nat 1 on the fireball. It's not quite lethal. It's 1 damage away from lethal, which means Mystic hits them for lethal in the sky next turn. So I miscounted just slightly. 1 away from lethal there. Definitely the best play we've got either way, because it is still a lot of damage. And there's the concession from our opponent. We are now 5-0 in the new player decks event. Alright, round 6, here we are. Pretty excellent opener, one of our better ones, I think. Expressive Iteration early on is always good. I do need to keep in mind to play this on turn 3 if I want to play a land off of it, though. That was a pretty big punt in our first game. But I am liking this hand. I think I'm still going to Iteration turn 2 and just let the card go to exile. Because we have a turn 3 into turn 4 play I really want to do. I want to Ravager when I have 2 Wizards out, so we can do the 2 damage with it. I guess it depends what they're playing here, what colors. Black into Shambling Ghast? Well, we can kill something with Ravager no matter what, then. Maybe we do wait on the Iteration, just play it as a late game draw spell. Or do it turn 3 potentially instead of Mystic. We're definitely not rebuking this Ghast. I think I'm holding on to the Iteration here. Alright, the Black-Red Treasure deck. Black-Red Sacrifice and Treasure. From our opponent, another Shambling Ghast. Alright. I would rather make the most of my mana and play the more expensive card than the 3/3 on the ground, even though this one's a little more expendable. I'd rather be blocking with this than my Mystic, but I'll still go for the blocks here. If our Mystic survives long enough for that. I guess we'll find out here soon enough. 3 mana, Skullport Merchant. Uh-oh. I'm going to kill that before they have the mana to start drawing cards off of that, because otherwise they're going to draw a million. Since I'm going to kill that here, I'm going to have to use Rebuke this turn. So would I rather Rebuke and Pledge Mage or Rebuke and Iteration? I probably would rather Rebuke an Iteration. I don't really need another 3/3 on the board ready to block. But I guess it'd be nice for it to be on the board ready to attack. I can draw cards later. We have plays to do next turn no matter what. We've got Ravager and Fireball. Yeah, our plays for next turn are set up here. So let's just Rebuke and Pledge Mage. And now we're hitting for 3 in the sky, and our Pledge Mage will be blocking those 1/1s on the ground. Pretty good. Well, I guess the other thing to consider about if we Iteration here is we'd be hitting for a lot. Hit for 2 more damage. Hit for 5 total, put them to 15. And we only take 2 on the crackback. So maybe to get aggressive, Iteration would not have been that bad. Well, we have set up a 3 damage Basalt Ravager now, which is nice. 3 is not 4 though, so Westgate Regent is coming in hot if we don't hit a land, and we don't hit a land. So Westgate Regent is certainly going to stick around for a moment here. Which means it's, we're going to have to chump block that thing. Yeah, that's horrible. That is so bad for us. If that hits us one time, none of our removal works on it. Except like Into the Royal we could bounce it with. Scry 1, draw a card. We don't get to choose what we're forcing our opponent to bounce with this, so this isn't a way to answer the Westgate Regent. Yeah, I think we're on Iteration here, and then we're on Chump Block the Regent. so that Fireball can still kill it. We just really need to hit the land, so we iterate for it. There's the land. Put a Mystic into hand, the land into exile. Play it here. I could attack here and threaten to have an instant, but they'll... if they block, that goes really poorly for me. So I don't really want to... just in case they call the bluff here, I'm just going to play the Mystic. Oh, wait. I forgot this triggers off of Wizards, too. I'm going to hit here. I'm going to hit here, then, because they're not going to take the trade, so we put them down to 12. If they have removal to kill a Mystic, this is kind of bad for us, but we might be able to outrace the Westgate Regent if they leave their flying blocker down. You know, if they go removal spell to attack in, then maybe we can outrace it. Alright, so they did not, so I'm just going to block it to stop it from getting too big for our Fireball to kill. Yeah, had they just went like Grim Bounty on a Mystic, then I'm like, alright, well, now we're racing and we'll see what happens. Alright, so Fireball, discard this 7 mana spell here. Seems like almost definitely the play. Yep, 100%. We have our 3/3 to block their 4/3. We hit for 3 in the sky, put them to 9. Still trying to race them here with this Mystic. Another nat 1 on the Fireball. Fireball is going to be doing a lot of damage to us throughout these games. Luckily, there isn't a natural one where the Fireball does 2 damage to you and no damage to your opponent. If there was, we would have been in a lot of pain. Luckily, Nat 1 is just 2 to both players. They're going to wipe the board here, maybe? I don't know what they could for 4. I know they have Orcus in that deck, but that costs a lot of mana to wipe the board. Alright. So we have multiple choice now for 4, which is pretty excellent. We get a 4/4, scry 1, draw a card, and our opponent bounces a card. And Mystic will attack for 3 damage that way. We could play Ravager. Mystic attacks for 3, and Ravager hits for 2. They go down to 2 life. I feel like multiple choice is better, though. Let's see what we hit here. And then we can Ravager next turn for potential lethal. I'll keep that Agar. Another good draw, another wizard. Choose the player, they return a creature. Yeah, choose opponent. Alright. I don't think there's a reason not to play this. I guess if they have another Westgate Regent, then we might need another card to discard. Soul Shatter. Sack the creature with the highest mana value. Alright, so there goes the Mystic. Unwilling Ingredient gets in there since it does have Menace. They have 2 Shambling Ghasts. They could block our 4/4 with 2 of those. And that's 2 damage to the 4/4 and -2/-2, so they can kill the 4/4 if we just get in. Kaza's a flying haste, so we're definitely hitting them with Kaza. Kind of okay with this elemental trading into all that. But I guess I could also just play a Ravager. If I play Ravager, then it doesn't trade in. Sure, we'll go like Kaza Ravager here. Oh, I should have played... oh. I should have played the Ravager first so they couldn't -1/-1 Kaza, because that stops the damage this turn. That was bad sequencing. Because now they have something good to actually give -1/-1 to. Although I guess they can -1/-1 the Ravager. So that if they block the 4/4 with the other gas, they kill the Ravager. Yeah, that actually does work out. That holds off the 4/4 for a turn then. That was pretty not ideal. I probably should have just played Agar Kaza and attack for 1 in the sky. Save Ravager for next turn to draw the card off of it. Pretty much like guaranteed. Send the squad. They block there. I draw a card. They whittle it down, but I've drawn a card off of it, so it's fine. Looks like they just scoop them up here. That is going to be 6-0 now. We have not dropped a game with this blue-red spells deck. Some great stuff from Prismari here. Alright, here we are, round 7, the potential final boss. And if we fail this time, we've got 2 retries. I will definitely keep this hand. Our opponent is on the play. That's a little bit worrying. But this hand's pretty good. It doesn't have the cheapest removal it doesn't have the cheapest removal in the world. We do have 2 mana removal in this deck, but it's got the 3 mana removal and a 5 mana removal spell. So if our opponent is one of those aggressive decks with the really quick curves, we could get slammed here, as I was saying when I was showing off the decks at the start of this video. Some of these decks do have the capability of some wild aggressive curves. So we'll see here. That would be my biggest fear, being on the draw. So opponent mulligans down to 6. They start with Port of Carfel. So they're the blue-black control deck. So this is going to be a grindy matchup here. A grindy game. We'll see how it goes. They foretell a card here. I know they have the foretell counterspell, I think. And I believe they have a foretell card that makes us discard 2. That would be pretty bad. That's some big card disadvantage for us here. We don't have anything that's really expendable in our hand right now. If they just force us to discard 2, that'll be pretty painful. They could have Poison the Cup foretold as well. I think the blue-black deck actually has quite a bit of foretell, potentially. So do we want to iteration this turn so we can attack with Pledge Mage? Seems fine to me. It might draw removal on Pledge Mage by threatening an attack here. I like it. They could counter our iteration, I guess. Dragon Turtle. Enters the battlefield, tap it, and a creature an opponent controls. They don't untap during their controller's next untap steps. Okay, so these are both just chilling for a turn, I guess. Well, that's not a great, not great draws here. Actually, Archmage is pretty fantastic. Yeah, but no obvious land to pick. I guess Wizard is a land. Yeah, this isn't bad at all. We get to use Wizard as the land drop off of it. That balances it out. Dragon Turtle's a 3/5. Dragon Turtle's really hard for us to kill. Most of our removal's like 4 damage. Gelatinous Cube from our opponent. Probably Demon Bolting that thing before they untap, because if they untap, they can dissolve our Pledge Mage and have it permanently dead. And that just feels not ideal to me. So I think we get to spend this turn playing a tapped land, because we're just going to spend 3 mana on a removal spell instead. Yep. And then we have the 5 mana for Fireball next turn to kill the Dragon Turtle. Things don't look that bad for us. Like, we are missing out on a lot of potential card draw we could have been getting from these spells from the Archmage. But the longer we hold off on the Archmage, the less likely it is our opponent has removal or a counterspell to deal with it. Unless they play some card draw here. Soothsayer Adept is card selection. Pretty good. Draw a card, discard a card. And they do spend a Poison the Cup on the Pledge Mage. So that's 1 Poison the Cup down. But they do get to scry 2 when they cast it. Dig for that next removal spell or counter spell. 1 to the top and 1 to the bottom, so 1 of the cards is good. Alright, so do we want to Fireball the Dragon Turtle to just slow our opponent down here, or do we want to play a Maelstrom Muse in a tapped land? If we Maelstrom Muse, they can't attack us unless they kill it, so it might draw another removal. And I do want to get this tapped land out of the way. See what happens here. If they kill a Maelstrom Muse and hit us for 4, it's not a big deal. 13 life is still a good total at this point in the game. Turn 5. Alright, they're just gonna spend some mana filtering with Soothsayer Adept. Looting here. Draw a card, discard Elderfang Disciple. They have 2 mana up. That shouldn't be enough to kill Maelstrom Muse. Need to play another land for that, to cast a Poison the Cup here or something. It is double black and 1, unless they foretell it. And they have foretold the card, so maybe they do have the next Poison the Cup here. Ooh, Agar. Agar's really nice, because it also potentially draws this card. So we attack with Maelstrom Muse. Our next spell costs 2 less. We'll see what that leaves us open to doing. It might be able to do Archmage and Fireball. I don't think so. I think we're 1 mana off from that, unfortunately, still. But it opens us up to some things. Yeah, we're 1 mana away from Archmage Fireball. We have 6 mana, we would have needed 7 here. So we can do Agar Fireball, but then we don't draw the card off of Agar. How important is it to draw the card? I think card draw is going to be a big factor against a blue-black deck here. We're both kind of control decks, kind of card draw decks. So I feel like I want to Agar and actually just draw the card off of the Fireball rather than kill the Dragon Turtle. They can hit us for 3 all day long as I have more cards to play around with than they do. Let's get that Agar card draw here. And we get rid of their looter. Not quite as good as killing the Dragon Turtle, but if we killed the Dragon Turtle, we wouldn't have dealt any excess damage. We wouldn't have drawn a card. Now, next turn, we have the mana for Archmage plus Prismari Command, even if they kill Maelstrom Muse. So that should be absolutely excellent here. Really put us in a good position. Opponent is stuck on 4 mana here. They are going to Poison Cup Maelstrom Muse. Main phase, that means they are tapped out here. Scry 1 to top, 1 to bottom. Start letting our Archmage go off. Here we go. Basalt Ravager's the draw too. That's a pretty great card. Take another 3 here, go to 9. It's a little painful. We don't really have a way to kill Dragon Turtle anymore though. Could come back to bite us, hopefully not too hard. Really want a Prismari Command right now. I'll Prismari Command in response to them trying to kill our Archmage. They will succeed at killing the Archmage, but we'll get to draw the card if they have removal. Mind Flayer, that doesn't this doesn't kill that. That's a big problem. Let's get a treasure token so we know we can pledge Mage Ravager to kill Mind Flayer, and have three giants on the board to do so. Yeah. So in response to their target here. That's what we want to do. We could kill our own Archmage, but that feels definitely worse, because we just need 6 mana next turn. We have 6 mana, so we don't even need the treasure token here. Yeah, next turn we just play Prismari Pledge Mage, play Basalt Ravager, and that's it. We have 3 wizards on the board, we deal 3 damage to Mind Flayer, it dies, we get the Archmage back. Yeah, that's definitely our line. So we want to draw 2, discard 2, and deal 2 to their face then? I guess? Okay. Alright, well, these are some pretty easy discards then. Take 3 down to 9. Get our Ravager here. Get our Archmage back. Hit for 3, and we've got real good blockers now for that turtle. They're down to 8, we're down to 9, but our board state is better, our cards are worse. They concede. That's 7-0. I wonder what they had foretold there. Was it, it was Skull Raid to make us discard 2. So they would have drawn a card. They discard our island and then they draw a card, because they draw cards equal to the difference. But yeah, we're going to get there in their end. Our opponent a bit stuck on mana there. Again, one of those games. Weren't stuck enough to like not be able to cast anything. Probably. There might be like a 6 mana card in hand. But definitely stuck on mana enough to where they couldn't quite dump their hand on board as fast as we could. And the repeatable card draw effects like Agar and Archmage Emeritus every time putting in so much work for us. That is 7-0. That is going to end our run in the new player decks Arena Decathlon event. And that'll be my 3rd Arena Decathlon token. It is weird to get the token from event number 4 before event number 3, but as I said before, event number 3 bugged out and destroyed Arena. I tried to enter event number 3 and that locked me out of Arena for like 2 hours because I tried to do that. I could not reconnect for a while. So that's why we're not doing the traditional draft today. It's gone. It's coming out tomorrow. So I will do the traditional draft tomorrow, but in the meantime, What a nice run there. 7-0, new player decks event. I'll take it. That is our third Arena Decathlon token. As always, thank you all very much for watching. If you want to see some more videos like this, I'll be back again real soon. Definitely will be back again tomorrow or the next day with our run through the Decathlon event number 3, the Crimson Vow Traditional Draft Decathlon event. So until next time, thank you all for watching again, and I'll see you soon.